about that. Okay, so some of my very earliest activism at high school was in opposing homophobia and transphobia. I spent the early part of my school years in Catholic schools until I was booted out for my left-wing activism. And thank you. And there are two memories that really stick out to me. The first was of a teacher who quite proudly talked to us of her divorce in an environment which pushed backward gender roles and ideas about sex. It was a joyous breath of fresh air to have a teacher talk to us in a positive way, excited about her divorce, the sense of, elation she had freeing herself from an unhappy relationship. She promised us that in the next class she was going to unveil her real name. And you know what, we look forward to it. It was exciting. It was exciting to see her kind of come into her own. Tragically, the next week we walked into her classroom and what we saw was a woman who really looked like she'd had the confidence knocked out of her. And she told us, after we asked, that she couldn't change her name because she was being threatened with the sack. It was absolutely awful for her, and it was awful for all of us, and the message that it sent to us in that classroom. My other memory is of being a 15-year-old student in my first same-sex relationship and being publicly humiliated by a particularly vicious year-level coordinator. Being a school that encouraged aggressive policing of our appearance and of our sexuality, she pulled me up for having a skirt that was too short. Yeah, fuck her! Fuck her! Exactly. She demanded that I come to the front of the class, that I take off my jumper, knowing full well that underneath was the see-through white winter uniform shirt, and my rainbow belt was exposed. Yeah, which I was proud of, frankly. But she then used that as an opportunity to mock me, to make inferences about my sexuality, and to encourage my peers to bully me. Credit to them, they actually had some sense of solidarity and didn't. But after I refused to kowtow to her bullying, refused to take off the belt, I was sent out of class. That should not happen to anyone. No one should be denied the right to assert and affirm their identity in a workplace or at school. And that's why we're out here today, right? 79% of people oppose religious institutions discriminating against their employees. 84% oppose the right of these institutions to discriminate against students. So why are creeps like Scott Morrison so obsessed with our bodies, with our sex lives, with our identities? Part of it, of course, is that they're trying to claw back some petty revenge after we won marriage equality. We all know that this bill has nothing to do with religious freedoms. It certainly has nothing to do with multiculturalism, a total bullshit lie that they try to put up to cover for their bigotry. It's part of a right-wing culture war. They hold up some trope of traditional conservative values being under siege from Marxist radicals and their liberal dupes. For them, it's an important cohering tool for the right-wing justification for their attacks on anyone who tries to stand for something different. The right's vision is of a society in which profit reigns supreme, which it takes precedence over any sense of human decency. Oppression of sections of us is key for the exploitation of the entire working class. This exploitation and oppression is what capitalism rests on. They fight for a world in which traditional institutions like the family and the church are respected, where they protect the status quo of what's right and natural, where authority is obeyed, whether it's in the workplace relation to the state. They want to prove that they can lord it over the rest of us, that they can have power over, trans kids wanting to assert their identity, over women who say that we shouldn't be raped in the halls of Parliament, over Indigenous people who say we deserve to live and not be killed in police custody. Scott Morrison couldn't even stand to be present at the vote for marriage equality in Parliament. He's a man who said that he put his kids in a conservative Baptist school so that they wouldn't be exposed to a respectful relationships program. So it's no surprise to us that this vile cretin is on the front lines of bigotry today. Yeah, fuck Scott Morrison! But what about our fair weather friends in the Labor Party? They have proposed a series of pretty minor technical amendments which don't actually do anything to stop the homophobic, bigoted guts of this bill. Spineless! Spineless is right. But it's worse than that. They're not even going to stand by their own amendments. They've said that they're happy to go ahead. They're going to support this bill no matter what, for their own cretinous, opportunistic electoral reasons. So as I said, there is no popular mandate for this bill, and they know it. They're counting on complacency. They expect us to just sit back and let this bigoted bill go up unopposed. No way! We cannot let that happen! We can't let it happen. We need to raise our voices. We need to be fighting in the streets. We need to make sure there is a political crisis for any politician, whatever party they're from, who dares to vote for this bill in any form. To the Liberal Party, we say, we are coming for you! To the Labor Party, we say, we will come for you too! Your amendments don't mean shit! There has never been, and there will never be, any such thing as a little bit equal! We will kill this bill! Kill the bill! Kill the bill! But I tell ya, Scott Morrison and the right, they are correct about one thing. It is true that revolutionary Marxism, with its radical gender ideology, is indeed a challenge to their worldview. So I'm bloody proud to be a revolutionary socialist